Hello, welcome again to Gearjunkies TV and a new video. And today we're going to take a look at the Moog Model 10 synthesizer. The Model 10 is a newly built recreation of the first modular synthesizer system created by Moog in 1971. The Model 10 is housed in a rugged Tolex enclosed wood cabinet, and in there are 11 discrete analog modules, which we take a close look at in a minute. All the units are hand built and limited, and the case looks very nice and is indeed portable, which means you can lift it and move it, although the weight is not really inviting for that. Anyway, before we dive deeper, you can stay informed about all our videos by subscribing to our channel. Just click the subscribe button below the video, and you can hit the bell button to get notifications when there is something new on our channel. So let's take a look at the modules that the Model 10 has. The format of the modules is MU, which stands for Moog unit, and it is also known as 5U, which refers to the height, which is approximately 5 19-inch rack units. In the case, there's space for 8 units per row, and besides 2 rows for 5U modules, there's a third row for what they call CP-sized modules. So let's go over the modules and see what's there. On the left here we have the 903A, which is a random signal generator. It has 2 different noise sources. One has white noise and the other one has pink noise, and both of them have 2 outputs. Then next to it is the 907 fixed filter bank. This is what you could see as an equalizer because it has 8 discrete bands, as well as a low pass and a high pass section. And the frequencies are 250, 350, 500, 700, 1000, 1400, 2000, 2800 Hertz. And of course there's a low and a high pass too. In the audio demo we will see how that sounds. Then there is the 904A voltage controlled low pass filter, and this is the first ladder filter that Bob Moog designed in its earliest form, and it has a controller for frequency, a controller for regeneration, also known as self-oscillation, and there are 3 frequency ranges. The module has a signal input and output, and there are 3 connected control inputs to apply modulation to the filter frequency. Then there's the 911 envelope generator. This is an 80s R envelope generator, but Moog made these a little bit special. So this is the attack, this is the decay, and this is the release, and this is the sustain. And what makes this Model 10 really special is this connection. This is a Keynes-Jones connector, and the envelope generator responds to S-trigger. This is a different system than the gates used in regular Eurorack systems, and also it is a very special plug format, so I had to get some special cables for that. And we'll talk about how the gates are produced in a minute. Then there's of course the output of the envelope generator. Moving on to row number 2. These consist of mostly oscillators, and in this case we have the 901A, 901B, and another 901B. The B modules are the actual oscillators. They have the frequency range in 6 octaves here, and can also be 5 octaves, and can also be set to a low setting. In that case the oscillator becomes an LFO. Then there's a frequency adjustment for both of the oscillators, and here are the outputs: sawtooth, sine, pulse and triangular. What you see is that there is no pitch control input. This is done actually by the oscillator controller. So the control inputs here, they are interconnected and they provide the control voltage that determines the actual pitch that the oscillator produces. They are connected on the back side, so you don't have to patch them on the front. Also here is the fixed control voltage encoder, and this enables you to select a specific octave to offset the voltage control inputs with. So with that you can set the total pitch of both oscillators higher or lower. This is a pitch fine control, and finally there's a controller here for the width of the pulse waveform, and this determines the pulse width of the pulse outputs of both of these oscillators. Then next to it is the 901 voltage controlled oscillator, and this one has its own control inputs, and it also has sine, sawtooth, triangular and pulse outputs, and they are available as fixed levels or as variable level outputs, and the level can be adjusted with these knobs. It also has an offset here and a frequency range and width of the pulse waveform and the fine-tuning for the pitch control. Then next to it is the 902. This is the voltage controlled amplifier, and it has 3 control inputs that come from the envelope generators. It has 2 signal inputs and 2 signal outputs, and it can be set to linear or exponential. There's a fixed control voltage as well, so when you turn this up, the voltage control amplifier will open up. And next to it is another 911, which is the same one as we saw on the upper panel. Finally, there's the third row. On the left side is the CP3 Mixer. This is actually one big panel, but it is divided in 3 sections, so I'll explain them separately. The mixer has 4 inputs, and it has a master gain, and it has both positive and negative outputs. And also present on this panel is a multiples section. Now the mixer is a bit special because together with the sound of the oscillators, this determines the very distinctive sound that the Model 10 or all old Moogs produce, because when it is set over 5, it will actually increase the gain of the input and add some kind of harmonic distortion to the signal, which gives a really nice, warm, fat sound to whatever you put in there. Next to it is the reversible attenuator. So this has an input and output, and at 0 it doesn't do anything, and when you set it to left or right, it adds a control voltage, positive or negative, to the applied input signal. And then we have a section here with the controller outputs. Now this is interconnected to the proprietary Moog connector on the backside of the Model 10. This is not used in our setup because this connector is only usable with a Moog keyboard, which we unfortunately don't have. And this is also brings us to the next issue, because when you use the Moog keyboard, the pitch control voltages will be outputted from these 2 multiples, and the trigger outputs will come from these 2. But in our case, as we don't have a Moog keyboard, we have to find a different solution for that. When I patch the Model 10 in a minute to show you how it sounds, I will explain what I did with these inputs to make it actually work with a newer type keyboard like the Moog Matriarch or any other keyboard that's capable of outputting CV gate signals. random signal generator, fixed filter bank, voltage controlled low pass filter. Oscillator A. Oscillator 901. Mixer. To show you a short demo what the complete Model 10 can do and how it can be expanded using some effects. For this I used an effect pedal I recently acquired, the Source Audio Nemesis. It has a range of delays, of which we will use a few programs, and the sequence comes from the Conductive Labs Noodler that also outputs tempo to the pedal for beat synced delays. what do we think of the Moog Model 10? First of all, I must say I was blown away by the massive sound it produces. The oscillators are very rich in timbre, and together with a great low-pass filter, they really create earth-shattering sounds. The fixed filter bank is also unique, and together they form a set of tools that gives you a lot of options for creating all kinds of sounds. Whatever you make with it, it always sounds very musical, warm and full of details. The controls are very precise, with small changes on the settings creating audible changes immediately. It might be an old concept, but I have not heard a modern synth concept that can produce these sounds. And of course, there are some oddities like the strange kinch joint connectors, and the control panel can only be used with a keyboard attached to the special connector on the back. So it often sits there useless. Nevertheless, with the Model 10 you get a unique insight in the past and the origins of modular synthesis, and at the same time you can still create modern day compositions and sounds for the future. Well, thank you for watching, and did you like this video, then please give us a thumbs up below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you want to see all our videos. We'll see you next time.